Somebody you know started a business this year with less money than they spend on Christmas gifts. No investors, no business degree, no inheritance, just a weekend, a couple $1,000s, and the willingness to do something that felt a little embarrassing at first. Probably scrolled past this idea a dozen times and dismissed it because it didn't look like a real business. That's exactly why it still works. I went through the businesses people are actually starting with under $5,000 right now, cross-referenced what they cost, what they pay, and how fast they get off the ground. I narrowed it down to 10. If you only remember one, make it the last one. It's the cheapest to start and the hardest to explain to your friends without sounding a little crazy right before you show them the numbers. Let's get into it. You don't need a shop. You need a van, some supplies, and a willingness to drive to the customer instead of waiting for them to come to you. Startup cost sits around $1,500 to $3,000 for a decent shop vac, buffer, and detailing kit. A full interior-exterior detail runs $150 to $300, and a solo operator can realistically do 3 a day. That's $450 to $900 a day with almost no overhead. The business doesn't grow because you get better at detailing. It grows because you stop advertising and start letting a shiny car parked in a driveway do it for you. Neighbors notice. Neighbors ask. That's the entire marketing plan. The people who fail at this business usually fail for the same reason. They try to serve every customer in the city instead of dominating 3 or 4 streets first. Density beats distance every time. A detailer who owns one neighborhood completely will always out-earn one who's driving 40 minutes between scattered jobs. This one keeps showing up on every list like this for a reason. It works. A solid pressure washer costs $1,500 to $2,500. Add a used truck you probably already own, and you're in business for under $3,000. You're charging $200 to $400 per driveway or house exterior. The trick nobody mentions is seasonality doesn't kill this business the way people assume. When money's tight, people wash their own house to make it look presentable to sell. When money's loose, they pay someone else to do it because they'd rather spend the weekend doing anything else. Either way, dirt doesn't care about the economy. And once you clean one house on a street, you don't need to knock on the next 10 doors. The neighbors do your selling for you every time they walk past a driveway that suddenly looks brand new. Yes, really. There are more than 90 million dog-owning households in the U.S., and most of those owners would rather pay a stranger than pick it up themselves. Startup cost is almost nothing, a scooper, some bags, maybe $200 total. You're charging $15 to $20 per weekly visit. 40 clients gets you to $600 to $800 a week for maybe 15 hours of actual work. Nobody's competing with you here because nobody wants to say out loud that this is their job. That silence is the entire opportunity. The businesses that sound the least impressive at a dinner party tend to have the least competition, and this might be the purest example of that on the entire list. This is the cheapest certification-based business you'll find. Getting commissioned as a notary costs $50 to $150 depending on your state. Once you're certified, you're charging $75 to $200 per signing, and if you specialize in mortgage closings, that jumps to $125 to $300 per appointment. 3 signings a day and you've made more than most people make in a full shift somewhere else. Total startup cost, stamp included, rarely crosses $500. The barrier isn't money. It's that almost nobody knows this job exists as something you can just decide to do on a Tuesday. If you speak a second language, this business gets even easier because there are entire communities of homebuyers actively looking for a notary who can walk them through paperwork in their first language. Every strip mall, church parking lot, and small business needs its lines repainted, and in a lot of states it's a legal requirement tied to accessibility compliance. A basic striping kit machine runs $3,000 to $4,500. A single job pays $500 to $2,000 and takes an afternoon. The reason this one stays uncompetitive is simple. Nobody thinks to look for it as a business, so almost nobody's bidding against you when you call. Most property managers are simply waiting for someone to remind them their lot needs it. You're not selling a service so much as you're solving a problem they forgot they had. You don't need 40 machines to start. You need one good location and one modern card reading machine. machine, which now costs $2,000 to $4,000. Placed correctly in an office breakroom, a gym, or a small factory floor, that single machine can generate $200 to $500 a month in pure profit. The real skill here isn't stocking snacks. It's the 5-minute conversation where you convince a business owner that an empty corner of their building is worth more with your machine sitting on it than it was worth empty. That conversation is the whole business. Everything after that, restocking, collecting cash, wiping down the glass, is just maintenance on a decision you already made once. People will pay to make things disappear from their garage, their basement, their yard, faster than they'll pay for almost anything else. All you need is a truck you probably already have, some basic tools, and $500 to $1,000 for insurance and permits depending on your city. You're charging $100 to $400 per job based on volume, and a single Saturday can net you $600 to $1,200. Half of what you haul away, you can flip or scrap for extra margin nobody accounts for on the invoice. The furniture someone's paying you to remove might be worth $150 to the right buyer online, which means you're occasionally getting paid twice for the same trip. Everyone assumes this business requires a company, a uniform, a logo. It doesn't. It requires supplies you can buy for under $300 and 5 recurring weekly clients. At $100 to $150 per clean, 5 clients a week puts you at $2,000 to $3,000 a month before you've spent $1 on marketing beyond word of mouth. The business isn't built on cleaning better than the next person. Built on showing up on the same day, every week, until the client stops thinking of you as optional. Most people who try this and quit don't quit because the work is hard. They quit because they keep chasing new one-time clients instead of protecting the recurring ones they already have. Startup cost here is close to zero, maybe $100 for leashes, poop bags, and a scheduling app. What actually costs money is time, and that's the point. A route of 10 to 15 regular dog walking clients at $20 to $25 per walk 5 days a week puts you at $1,000 to $1,800 a week. Add overnight pet sitting at $50 to $75 a night, and slow months disappear. This is the business people start just to make some extra cash and accidentally turn into their entire income within a year. Because the clients don't leave, they just add more pets, refer their neighbors, and book you months in advance for holidays when everyone else is scrambling. Here's what almost nobody tells you when they make these lists. You don't have to build any of the 9 businesses above from zero. In nearly every city, there are small operators, a guy with 20 pressure washing clients, a woman with a 15-stop dog walking route, someone with 3 vending machines already placed or ready to sell for $2,000 to $5,000 because they're moving or just done. You're not buying equipment. You're buying an existing list of paying customers who already trust the service and are used to paying for it every week or month. That's the difference between starting a business and starting a business with revenue already attached to it on day one. Most people never even think to look for this because they assume buying a business means 6 figures and a lawyer. At this size, it usually means 1 phone call, 1 afternoon, and a handshake. I want to pause here because I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds too simple. Where's the catch? The catch is that almost none of this looks impressive. You're not going to bring up pet waste removal at a dinner party the way you'd bring up a tech startup. Your hands are going to get dirty, literally, in at least 6 of these 10. You're going to knock on doors and hear no more times than yes before the first client says yes. You're going to spend a Saturday morning covered in grime from a driveway instead of posting a nicely lit photo of a laptop and a coffee. I think about 2 people I've talked to who had almost identical starting points. Both made around $50,000 a year at steady jobs. Both had roughly $3,000 in savings they could risk. One of them spent 2 years waiting for the right business idea, something clean, something with a nice logo, something he wouldn't feel weird explaining to his coworkers. He's still waiting, still scrolling, still telling people he's working on something. The other one bought a $2,500 pressure washer on a Tuesday, felt embarrassed about it for exactly 1 week, and by month 4 had a waiting list of neighbors who'd seen what he did to the driveway 3 doors down. By month 8 he'd hired a second guy just to keep up with the calls. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for the idea to feel exciting. He just started, and the business paid him back for not caring how it looked. That's really the only difference across every single item on this list. It was never about the $5,000. Plenty of people have $5,000 sitting in a checking account doing nothing right now, earning almost no interest, waiting for a sign. It's about being willing to do the unglamorous thing before you've convinced yourself it's cool. The businesses on this list don't reward cleverness. They reward the people who show up on a random Saturday and start, while everyone else is still looking for a better idea, a better time, or a better reason to wait one more month. The weekend is already here. The $5,000 is already sitting in your account, or close enough to it. The only thing separating you from any name on this list is whether you're willing to look a little unimpressive for the first few months on your way to looking a lot more comfortable for the next 20 years.